All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're diving into a really dark, kind of twisted philosophy. It takes the whole idea of ambition, this concept of Excelsior, and just flips it completely upside down. So, right out of the gate, we get hit with this massive paradox. In this worldview, ambition isn't about reaching some heavenly goal. Nope. The entire point of climbing higher is to set yourself up for a bigger, more spectacular, and lonelier fall. It's not about getting to the top, it's all about the quality of the dive. To really get our heads around this, we first have to totally redefine what ambition even means in this context. This is not the Excelsior of saints and heroes that we're used to hearing about. This is something else entirely. So, in this philosophy, right, that drive for Excelsior, that urge to go higher, it's just a tool, it's a means to an end. And that end is what the text calls cold and solitary grandeur. It's basically mocking the traditional striving of saints, swapping out their longing for the sun with a deep craving for the absolute freezing dead of night. And that ultimate state, it actually has a name, the devil's hour. And listen, this isn't just a time on the clock. It's a state of being. It's that moment of ultimate spiritual expansion into this vast, cold darkness, which is the complete opposite of the warmth and light we usually connect with success. Now, this philosophy, it basically splits all of humanity into two camps, and this division is absolutely key to understanding everything else. Let's dig into them. First up, you've got the narrow souls. Now, these are the spirits who are terrified of both the great deep and the great height. They avoid extremes at all costs. They prefer the safety of what this text calls mediocre virtue. Staying in a small, well-lit room, saying the same hollow prayers over and over. They huddle together for warmth, totally trapped in a prison of their own making. And you got to pay attention to the wording here, holy scorn. The contempt for these narrow souls isn't just, casual dislike. It's actually elevated to a spiritual principle. This worldview sees mediocrity not just as a failure, but as something that deserves this deep, almost religious level of scorn. And this chart just lays out the contrast perfectly, doesn't it? Where narrow souls are afraid of boundaries, wide souls exist to smash right through them. They're not looking for safety, they're looking for a perilous north. And get this, the text explicitly lumps criminals and geniuses into the same category of wide souls, because they're the ones who break the rules to stretch their wings. Their so-called goodness is just a lack of passion. So, okay, if you're one of these wild souls, how do you actually do this? How do you achieve this magnificent fall? Well, the text lays out a very specific process, almost like a dark science for spiritual freefall. This right here, this is the secret sauce. The text calls it the gay science of the precipice. The whole point is to understand that the climb is just the setup, the dive, the fall. That's the honest part. And why is it honest? Because it's right there at the edge, in that moment of falling, that your true self is finally and violently met. And here it is, broken down. Step 1, the ascent. You climb this mountain of pride, and you're fueled by pure ambition and malice. Step 2, the edge. You get to the precipice, that point of no return where you finally meet your true self. And then finally, the dive. You consciously, willingly commit to that profound, honest fall straight into the abyss. And man, this is the perfect symbol for this whole twisted idea, isn't it? A cathedral spire. It's the ultimate icon of humanity striving to reach heaven. But here, it's shattered. It's a monument not to a successful climb, but to a spectacular failure that, in this philosophy, is actually the ultimate success. It's pointing to a heaven it can never, ever reach. All right, so what's at the bottom of this dive? What's the final destination, the end game here? Let's take a closer look at this ultimate state of being. This philosophy is all about the devil's hour. The text talks about this state as a radical expansion of the spirit. I mean, imagine stretching your soul so far that all the little seams of your daily life just burst. It's not about being evil in the way we usually think about it. It's about achieving this state of ultimate, terrifying spaciousness. Just listen to the feeling these words give you. Cold, solitary, but also grandeur. This is not about happy communities or warm connections. It's a state of immense, lonely, and magnificent power. That's the key word here, spaciousness. In this view, the abyss is profound because it's empty. It's a place where there are no small thoughts, no narrow mercies, no huddled fears. There is only a vast, uncompromising void that the wide soul finds beautiful. And the people who get there,
They're called the Lords of the Horizon. They are seeking the exact point where the highest and the lowest merge into one. Just think about that for a second. The peak and the pit becoming a single, dark point of light. It's the ultimate transcendence of opposites.
Okay, let's pull all these threads together. This philosophy doesn't just offer a different goal for your life, it completely inverts the very meaning of ambition and which direction a good life should go. So this is the real victory, right here. The ultimate achievement, according to this worldview, is the total transformation of human desire. It's about taking that innate longing for the stars that we all have and deliberately twisting it into a hunger for the deep. And so, the very word that means ever upward, Excelsior, gets hijacked. It becomes a battle cry for the fall. The highest point in the world is now just a monument on the peak of the abyss, and Excelsior is no longer an upward plea, but a downward and triumphant shout. And we'll leave you with the final, unsettling question this whole thing leaves hanging in the air. If the peak is just a monument to the abyss, just a starting block for the dive, then what does it truly mean to strive? What are any of us really climbing toward?